Part 2. As a CEO, my wife is incredibly wealthy, yet she's always worried I'm after her inheritance. She keeps a tight rein on our finances, allowing my daughter and me just $200 a month for spending money. Seeing me, Jasper was unfazed and acted as if he owned the place, warmly inviting me in. "Declan, come on in, make yourself comfortable." I was momentarily speechless, looking questioningly at Adeline on the sofa. "Why is he here?" Sensing my expression, Adeline awkwardly explained, "Jasper hasn't been well, so I brought him here to look after him." "Don't overthink it." I suddenly understood. No wonder Adeline was home tonight, it was all for Jasper. She seemed relieved, adding, "It's a good thing you sent our daughter to your mom's beforehand. Otherwise, it would have been inconvenient with so many people here." I found it ironic. She hadn't even noticed our daughter's absence, her mind solely occupied with Jasper. Jasper feigned remorse, saying, "It's all my fault for disrupting your married life, Declan. I'm just here temporarily. You aren't upset, right?" But his eyes were filled with smugness and a challenge. Adeline, anxious to avoid conflict, quickly interjected, "Declan, don't worry. Jasper and I agreed he'd sleep on the sofa. He won't disturb us." But the next moment, I saw pity in her eyes for him. How could she bear to let Jasper sleep on a cold sofa? If I hadn't come back suddenly, she would have cradled him in her arms. Thinking of this, I said, "Since his back is bad, he shouldn't sleep on the sofa. He should sleep in the master bedroom." Jasper's face lit up with delight at my words. "Really, Declan, you're so generous." Adeline also breathed a sigh of relief. "Declan, I'm glad you see it this way. I was worried you'd be jealous of Jasper and make a scene." She thought I had matured and wouldn't argue over such trivial matters. I was leaving anyway, so why should it matter to me where he stays? As Adeline joyfully led Jasper into the master bedroom, I quietly packed my bags, ready to stay at a hotel. But as I reached the door, Adeline emerged from the bedroom and stopped me. "Declan, it's late. Where are you going?" I smiled faintly. "To give you and Jasper some space, of course." Upon hearing this, Adeline's expression turned grim, and she gritted her teeth. "What do you mean by that, Declan?" I already explained. It's because of Jasper's back pain that I brought him here temporarily. You're the one who agreed to let him stay in the master bedroom. What are you doing now? Don't you have any sympathy? Her words were endless, but I found them amusing. I used to argue with her about Jasper, and she'd call me immature and unreasonable. Now that I was mature and didn't argue, she was unhappy again. Jasper pretended to sob. I knew Declan was still mad at me. "It's all my fault. I should just suffer on the street." His poor acting fooled Adeline, who then shielded Jasper. "Jasper, you're staying here today. I'd like to see who dares to kick you out." Crossing her arms, she coldly said to me, "You've grown bold. Go ahead, leave if you dare." She assumed I loved her too much to really leave, but from the moment our daughter died, my love for her vanished. I would never forgive her. I chuckled coldly, grabbed my suitcase, and left. Adeline stared at my back in disbelief, unable to comprehend. It wasn't until I got in the elevator that I heard her shout, "Go on. If you leave, don't come back." But she didn't realize I truly wouldn't return. She had lost me forever. At the hotel, I slept peacefully. The next morning, I woke up to dozens of missed calls, all from Adeline. The last call was half an hour ago. I was surprised she hadn't slept all night. She used to tell me to be more tolerant and not argue with Jasper. When did she become so petty? When I opened the door, Adeline sat tiredly in a chair. Seeing me, her eyes immediately welled up. "Just because I let Jasper stay with us, you're leaving and quitting your job." I didn't answer directly, but asked, frowning, "How did you know I was here?" Adeline's voice was hoarse. "I checked your bank transactions." I suddenly remembered that not long after we married, Adeline took control of our finances, monitoring my and our daughter's expenses closely. Even the bank cards were under her name. Looks like I won't be needing that card anymore. But I was puzzled. Shouldn't she be at home taking care of Jasper? Why was she here? Adeline, unusually gentle, took my hand. "I know you're still mad about last night. So this morning, after Jasper felt a bit better, I sent him away. Don't worry, he slept on the sofa." I looked at her in disbelief. She never used to explain these things. Whenever I argued with her about them, she'd call me petty and narrow-minded. But now, without me asking, she kept talking in my ear. I felt annoyed and pushed her away, expressionless. "Are you done? I need to go to an interview." Recently, I'd sent out many resumes and received offers from several big companies. But just as I was about to leave, Adeline, tearful, grabbed me, her voice trembling. "Declan, must you be so heartless? Jasper and I grew up together. I just want him to be well. Is that wrong? Besides, haven't I been good to you and our daughter? Haven't I paid for everything you and our daughter needed all these years? Do you think this is fair to me?" Her confident words felt ironic. She only gave us $200 a month, barely enough for basic needs, let alone school or commuting. To feed our daughter, I worked 3 part-time jobs after work. Yet, I couldn't gather the $10,000 for surgery and watched as our daughter died on the operating table. Tearfully, Adeline softly said, "Declan, stop this, come home with our daughter. Let's live happily as a family, okay?" Her pitiful look only amused me. Why should I act like her obedient dog, doing whatever she says? Seeing my stern face, she reluctantly offered, "Then, I'll raise your and our daughter's allowance to $500 a month. Didn't our daughter want to go to the beach? Let's go today, okay? Look, I even bought her the swimsuit she always wanted." She finished, looking at me expectantly. She thought her offer was tempting enough that I couldn't refuse. I sneered coldly, "You want to take our daughter to the beach? Then come with me." Adeline had no idea what was coming. She thought I'd forgiven her. As she followed me to the car, she joked, "We've been together so long, and you still have surprises for me? Alright, I'll humor you and check it out." But when I drove to our daughter's grave, Adeline looked confused. "Declan, weren't we going to your mom's to see our daughter? Why did you bring me here?" I gave a bitter chuckle. "You want to take our daughter to the beach, right? Then follow me." Adeline had no idea what was coming. She thought I'd forgiven her. Even as she got into the car with me, she joked with a playful smile, "We've been together for so long, and you're still planning surprises for me? Alright, I'll humor you and come along." But when I drove to our daughter's grave, Adeline looked puzzled. "Declan, weren't you taking me to your mom's to see our daughter? Why did you bring me here?" The moment Adeline saw our daughter's photo on the tombstone, the swimsuit she had bought slipped from her hands.